Okay, we're recording.
Awesome. Okay, so to start off, do just a little quick introduction into just your name, company, and how long you guys have been in business.
Yeah. My name's Tyler. So I'm with Spider Shop. Um, we have been in business now going on 2 years. April 1st would be 2 years. Um,
2 years.
yeah, that marks. Well, I yeah, that marks. I think either the day I started my website or the day I like filed for the business license. Um, and initially we started online, so I think it was all kind of around the same. Business license and the website went live, and
What part of the country are you guys in?
we're in Tacoma, Washington. Yeah, North.
Tacoma, Washington.
Yeah.
And do you have a brick and mortar storefront, or is it all online?
Just recently we opened brick and mortar. Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it's been some new challenges for sure. But we've done pretty well online, and I was working out of my garage essentially, and so definitely could utilize more space, and then also thought it'd be cool to, we don't have anything like that nearby, like a reptile store. Um,
Right.
yeah.
I mean, outside of Fear Not Tarantulas, I don't know of any other brick and mortar invert dealers in the country. Now, are you guys strictly inverts, or do you guys do other stuff as well?
Was definitely strictly inverts on online, but I knew that once we went local, and when we're online, my local sales didn't even account for like 5% of our sales. So like it wasn't a
Oh,
huge market locally for spiders. So I knew it was like going to be vital to like offer like reptile supplies for sure, and maybe some reptiles. So I'm getting into guy I got working with me or working for me. He breeds gargoyle geckos, so we stock those to the store, and um, getting into some of the other like snakes, and we come to know a lot of the people locally at the shows, that we're trying to work with. Like, let me sell, consign your snakes or consign your frogs, or um, and also trying to support, the local breeders too. We've got the sign up in the store, where people could come and post you know, their whatever they breed and their contact info and stuff like that. So,
gotcha. Yeah, I mean, uh, this doesn't really, this is just food for thought. But two of my good friends up in that way, I know one's in Spokane and one's right on the other side in Idaho, are Nick Mutton and Ryan Young. So if you are looking for like pythons or boas, I don't know what they have in the way of colubrids, but pythons and boas, I mean, they um, breed quite a bit and are pretty known. And I'm not talking like just ball pythons and boa constrictors. I'm talking most of their specialty is in Australian, Indo-Asian uh, pythons.
hmm.
They've had some hands in writing some of the books that are out, like the more complete carpet python and stuff like that. So I don't know. It may be worth a try if you're looking for inventory. I know that sometimes they have stuff in excess and they might be willing to hook you up with some type of consignment or just take a bunch of, if anything, to save them from having to feed them. But back to the questions. One of the things I wanted to get out there is what exactly inspired you to start the spider shop? I mean, were you just a hobbyist beforehand, or did go
Yeah,
ahead?
yeah. I when I first bought my first tarantula, I was looking for at Craigslist for more, and there was a guy that I met locally, Steve Dowd. I think a lot of people in the tarantula hobby know him, and it was definitely a huge inspiration and like blessing for me to have this wealth of information and knowledge here locally. And he had open door policy, like you go over to his house anytime, and he taught me all about breeding. And so, I breed these tarantulas, and ultimately, any profit that or return that I got from breeding, I just bought more tarantulas, and that just like domino effect. And
Yeah.
So then, yeah, eventually I was just had a lot, and I was offering it locally anyways, and so I was like, oh, if I, I might as well just make a website. And I was doing actually chemical dependency counseling before. I was working at a methadone clinic, and 3 months after starting the website, I was getting more income than I was from my job. So it took off pretty quick, and I don't know really how to explain. Like, definitely some you know luck involved. I don't know. There's a lot of people out there trying to sell. I can't really say what it is that kind of set us apart early on. I definitely
I,
blessed.
I feel like half of it is just being good, having good business sense. I feel like it doesn't necessarily, as an appraiser, I worked and ran my own shop for a long time. Now I work with a larger nationwide company just because I got sick of some of the challenges of running my own shop. But when I did it myself, um, I was profitable year over year until I closed it. And I feel like if you can manage relationships with your clients, in my case they were banks or companies giving me my appraisal work. In your case it's customers. So if you can manage your relationship with clients and you're personable, people are going to want to buy from you because let's be honest, there's a you know excluding the fewer rare species, a lot of this stuff you can get from anybody. But if you have smart business sense on top of that, and you know how to not only manage your relationships with whoever your public is, but you also have the ability to um, not take 100% of your revenue and sink it into something else, and you're planning ahead, having a business plan and a business model. I feel like you can be pretty successful. I mean, obviously, inverts are a really small niche, which you already kind of alluded to because you broadened your public, so to speak, to kind of include products. And from the conversations I've had with a lot of the brick and mortar shops, products do make up a large part of their revenue on an annual basis. So that's probably something that was a smart move on your part. Um, but like, what exactly, in your words or in your opinion, what sets the spider shop apart from, let's say, some of the other online vendors? And I'm not. It's not about bashing anybody or talking about someone in a negative way. I'm just kind of curious what sets you guys apart at the spider shop from other avenues where people could spend their money.
Yeah, yeah, just kind of what we've been talking about so far is, I mean, the first thing I think of, I mean, when I first started, there were some things I recognized about the, sellers that existed at the time, and just kind of some of the terms that were out there, like for instance, like you buy a spider, it shows up dead. They would ask the customer to pay shipping again to reship the spider. Like they'd,
Not cool.
yeah, yeah, it just seems unreasonable. There's also terms, that are just really restrictive on the buyer. Like you have to go to a hub at certain temperatures, got to pick it up within an hour.
Oh, you're talking about terms and conditions, not terms as in words that people use within the hobby.
Correct, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I
Yeah,
want to make sure that I was thinking, I was like, what phrases are people using? Makes total sense now.
yeah. So I mean, I kind of really tried to put myself in the situation of a buyer because I mean, I was for a long time, right? I was a buyer, I had that buying experience, and I kind of knew what didn't really settle well with me, right? And so I have always been willing to take a loss to make sure that the customer doesn't have that negative experience. Doesn't have that feeling like they're being ripped off or taken advantage of or being screwed. Um, and I think for a long time that was kind of the standard in the industry was those terms, like they have to pay to ship again, even if that didn't seem right to me. So if in the event that anything shows up not doing well, or we call it DOA, dead on arrival, I think reptiles the same maybe. Um,
Yes, it is.
we pay for shipping to get that to the customer because that's what they paid for was for the animal and shipping. They paid for that already. They shouldn't have to pay for it again. Um,
Exactly.
and luckily we got a pretty low DOA rate. I mean, we ship a lot, so it doesn't. happen all too often. But so definitely the
Sometimes it's sometimes it's outside of your control, especially with FedEx. One thing I see a lot of people in the hot, well, maybe not as much anymore, but it used to be commonplace for invert dealers to offer, USPS shipping, which is illegal. You're not supposed to ship live anything through the USPS. Um, but I myself have shipped hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of reptiles, a few inverts, but hundreds of reptiles, and there's been I could count probably I'm conservative probably two times, maybe three, where something has showed up dead, or something showed up, it wasn't right when they opened it, and it passed away a week later. So I offer a week long guarantee on my terms with my reptiles, but I just in those instances, again, it was only like a few times. I just feel like my reputation, I've worked 20 years to build it, since I've been doing this. Um, it's worth more than $150. It's worth more. And like one thing I've told my kids, um, I have three daughters, and I've said, one thing that you can take through your life into like your personal experiences with in interactions with your friends, but also in your workplace is your reputation is the only thing that no one can take from you. They can take your life, they can take your family, they can take everything, but your integrity, that's the one thing that is yours and it belongs to you. And the only way you can lose it is by you sacrificing it. And it takes years to build it, but it takes just one decision or a couple seconds to lose it. And so in the hobby, let's circle back. In the hobby, it's the same situation. It's like, is my reputation really worth $75 of shipping? Is my reputation worth so my most expensive one I refunded, which was outside of my week guarantee. I knew the guy. It was kind of a third party. The guy that bought it was not the guy that was receiving the animal, and it was outside of the week. But I just like, you know what? I don't want this thing to go sideways and become an exaggerated issue. So I refunded. I didn't refund him. It was $400. I didn't refund him, but I sent him my prized adult female to replace it. Probably one of the most important animals in my collection. I told him, I said, what you're getting is far and above, probably triple the worth, but I don't have anything to supplement it with. And I would rather, I gave them the option. I said, I basically can send you the animal or I can refund you the $400. They wanted the animal. The money wasn't the concern. So I sent him my female, and I said, all I ask is that if she breeds, you give me a baby back. Never heard anything again. And this was like, 5 years ago, so the animal should have produced, but whatever. I mean, it was a way for me to keep my integrity intact. That's what I guess, the way. So, like to your point, I think that's really smart on your side because, when you're first starting out, people don't have years and years of like rapport with you. And so all it takes is one bad transaction and be like, well, okay, we already got something going on. People are already starting to complain about this guy. You know what I mean? So, like, so obviously you've kind of alluded to this with, you kind of working with reptiles and adding products. But what exactly are you guys, what is your specialty? If you could kind of sum it up in a few sentences.
I mean, I'm most knowledgeable about the tarantulas, so it's definitely, tarantulas would be my specialty, I guess.
Is
Um,
there a sub niche within the tarantulas that are your special, like arboreal, old world, new world? Um, no.
no, I wouldn't say so. No, I mean, for breeding wise, like it's weird how I'll talk to some, breeders in the hobby, and they'll be really successful with certain genus, or genera. A couple, Poecilotheria is one. It's the like Indian ornamentals,
Yeah.
um, and they can breed them like nothing. But I've bred them 25 plus times and only got one, good outcome from it. Whereas, I can
Oh,
breed,
okay.
yeah, breed. I've bred a variety of things, but that for sure is like I've given up on even trying on breeding those. Um, but yes, or this week we just pulled C. levitis is a cobalt blue. It's a fossorial species.
Oh,
Just pulled a sack of those. Just pulled a sack of Phormictopus Dominican purple. It's a terrestrial New World species. Um, Fimbriatus is another Asian fossorial that we have.
which one?
Chelobrachys fimbriatus is the Indian
Oh,
violet.
okay. The Indian violet. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got those in the incubator. Pamphibidius machala, got a couple of those in the incubator. Those are New World terrestrial from Ecuador. Um, so yeah, I definitely don't really specialize in like, you know, a lot of one species. Like even the female,
Gotcha.
I only have like maybe three females of different things. Um, so I definitely try to broaden. Like variety was really important always to me too. To be able to
Well,
offer.
yeah. If you're opening a shop, you want to be able to offer more than just one thing because you're going to grab the attention of more people. And one thing that's cool about tarantulas is there's a paint job and a size for everybody. It's like you start out with what you like, and then you're like, okay, maybe I can try this or I'll try that. There's a lot of different things. So, um, with that in mind, do you have a top three favorite species, or if you could narrow it down, just I really want you to say species, but if you had to go with a genus, maybe your top three that intrigue you the most.
That's always a tough question. I like a lot of different stuff. You always like what's new and rare and, popular. And so like Celedonia, I don't know if you're familiar with the Brazilian jewel.
The trapdoor.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've got a few females and, waiting for our male to mature. And that'll just be exciting to, I had a sack before that just didn't pan out 100%. I ended up with a few spiderlings. But with the three females now, I'm hoping to have more luck. And they sell so fast. They're really valuable. Um,
Are those a true dwarf tarantula?
they are,
All the
yeah,
all the pictures I see, they look like they're about the size of a pepperoni,
yeah,
maybe smaller.
yeah, yeah. They stay small, maybe
Okay.
2 inch, 2.5 inch leg
And they're
span.
pretty pricey, right? They're like $150 or $140, something like that.
Yeah, for a baby, and
Wow.
it,
They
it
are
is,
pretty though.
yeah. It has been a challenge on them though because they're really fragile. So people will buy
Oh,
them and then say like, oh, like it died a couple days later, and then I'm kind of stuck in that situation where like like I can take a hit more than they can, and I kind of feel obligated again to kind of reimburse some credit or refund or something. So, and the last time I had them, there was a lot of that. Um,
are they are they an advanced hobbyist? Like you probably get a lot of people that really shouldn't be buying them that look at them and they think they're unique and they're pretty, but they don't have the experience to really because they're kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? Like white gloves species, you know?
yeah, yeah, and I mean, and I've even lost some trying to raise some. Um, So there's a lot of debate about the proper care, and ideal setup and humidity and all that. But definitely, yeah, they're white glove, fragile. Um, should be prepared for loss anytime. I mean, there are bugs I mean, there's loss in the hobby for sure.
Right.
Um, but yeah,
Do you have any other species that you really like or?
yeah. So there's one called Flamingocheilus species Saba dwarf. It's from Indonesia. I could be wrong on that. Sorry, but so I have a pretty big female, and they haven't been bred in the United States before. So I'm really excited at the chance to maybe be the first time to breed them here. Um, we hatched out a couple others for the first time in the United States um, here, and so I hope that might be another one. So Saba dwarf. And then um, what else? There's one called Iridipelma hirsutum. So I think it's Amazon ribbed. So I got a big female
Hmm.
that's been bred. It's hard to get stuff from Brazil. So usually anything from Brazil,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
I lived there for a couple years. I know.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, it's they don't export anything. to anyone. Just from like snake species, it's next to impossible. Somehow they all end up in Europe. I don't know. Somebody knows somebody over in Europe, and then we get everything over here. But
Yeah. The same with the rest.
um, yeah, yeah. But
Interesting.
you know, one thing I've learned with tarantulas is everybody said when I first got into it, everybody says, start off with the new worlds, and then because the venom potency isn't as bad, and they're not quite as defensive, and yada yada yada. Everybody, you know where I'm going with that. But I have found that um, a lot of the old worlds, especially the earth tigers, because most of my old world experiences with earth tigers are so much easier and deliberate and slower in their movements than the new worlds. Like, I would much rather rehouse an earth tiger than a tappy. Like, or like my favorite genus is Psalmopoeus, and one of my favorite species is the Psalmopoeus pulchra or pulcher. I don't know how you say it, but it's the Panama blonde. Not an expensive species, but I just love the color palette. And I love some of the species within that genus, but yeah, they're kind of like teleporters, and they can get super defensive. Um, and so I might roll the dice with the venom potency of an old world, but I know that my chances of being bitten because of the temperament and the demeanor is a lot lower with the stuff that's a little bit more medically significant venom than the stuff that's not. I don't know. It's just kind of it's a balancing act.
Yeah. 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 I say it a lot that I don't like packing new worlds because of the urticating hairs. I'd much
Yeah,
rather.
I do not like urticating hairs.
So same. I'd much rather deal with the earth tiger than like a blondie or the bird eaters or yeah. I always keeps me up at night sometimes scratching my arms.
So that's the thing. It's like I don't want to like the Nandu chromatus. I think are really cool. I love the way that they look and the colors. But I've heard that their hairs are awful, like one of the worst. And if you get them on you, like they're really tough. So I've specifically steered away from some of the notorious hair kickers because, man, if I got to put on gloves and a long sleeve shirt to rehouse it, I really just don't even feel like dealing with it.
Yeah.
That's just kind of me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of, like a aquarium pet, it's like something
Right.
stays in the enclosure. It's not something you're going to be taking it out and playing fetch with or, playing with your kids
Sure.
with. Um, so yeah, there's definitely a drawback, you know, but it's not peeing in your carpet. It's not making noise. It's not
That's
taking up too
true.
much space. So
Small space.
yeah, yeah, low maintenance.
So, what are some of your best sellers and what are some of your worst, like the hardest things that have been to move for you?
Hmm.
That could be live animals or products. I'm just kind of shooting for whatever.
Yeah, I definitely think of the spiders that are hot sellers. It's definitely like the GBB, uh,
Oh
chromatophores,
yeah,
pubescens, yeah, Grammosola pulchra, really popular. Um, I think those are probably top two, probably. Um, and
I have one
then
of those.
which one?
Pulchra.
Okay.
I don't have a GBB. I had a couple juveniles a long time ago, but I got out of tarantulas completely and sold them. But I never saw them in their adult colors.
Huh. Yeah, I was kind of looking to get an idea of what we can send you, what might be your preference or what you might like or enjoy. Um,
I've heard they're really. I've heard they're really pretty. Um, in person. With the heavy webbing and stuff like that. So they're definitely one that I would. I I'm interested in. Yeah,
all right, I'll
and
note that.
yeah. Um, and I mean, truth be told, like I'm not like, I don't just want one of everything, but I just have thought, these are a couple species that if they mature out male, which will be pretty, you mature out male much sooner than female, I'll just give them to somebody that is breeding, and they can use it and send me a portion of the babies back to sell or whatever.
Yeah.
And if they mature out female, I've just got a very small group. My focus is my reptiles, so that's where my where I put most of my time and energy, and where most of my space is anyway. So I'm not one of those people that's looking to be a huge invert seller. But what have been some of the hardest species for you to move?
Um,
I don't know if you want to share that.
I'm trying to think, like, sorry, maybe hear my kid in the
No, you're good.
background, but we'll get some obscure species sometimes, and it's like, oh, like these aren't available anywhere. Like people are gonna, like it's rare. Let's get these and sell them, and that's not always like the best move. It's like they'll sit for a long time, usually expensive, and nobody wants to pay some, a high price for something that maybe there's not a lot of husbandry information out there about, or there's just not a lot of experience with them. Um, so stuff like that can sit for a while. Um, also kind of like your run of the mill, like slow growing, like a tea.
Lasiodora parahybana
Those actually been
LPs.
kind of popular lately. Um,
Oh,
yeah, yeah. Uh, I did get Aphanopelma Anita Hoffmanni, which is this. It's like a same genus as the desert blonde, but it's this black.
okay.
Yeah, it's like this black and red. And I was like, okay, this is gonna be hot. People are gonna want this. I don't think I sold one. Um, and they ran me, so much I can't drop the price, and so they kind of just I still got them.
One species that I want only because of the name is the Johnny Cash Eye, just because we live super close to Folsom Prison, and I'm a big Johnny Cash fan. So, and I've never seen one. I didn't think they lived here. So it was kind of, when I started like researching tarantula species, I'm like, man, that would be so cool to see. I mean, well, it gets pretty cold here in Northern California. So, I mean, we're like an hour from snow. So, um, and there's like a bunch of, near Folsom, there's some Johnny Cash stuff. And anyway, but
Surprised
yeah,
they can,
it's, what's up?
excuse me, it's just surprised that they can kind of tolerate the cold.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess when you go down far enough in the substrate, you get below the frost line and everything, and you know, I guess the temperatures are kind of warm. But like, do you have any like things that you're wanting to unveil here coming up that might further set you apart from some of the other vendors? Do you have any projects lined up?
Um, I mean, just first thing I think of, we just had an artist do these labels, and I'll get you one. I started with 20 species because I've seen people, they'll use our labels that we ship with, and they'll peel it off and they'll put it on the tarantula's enclosure, like to put the species name on their enclosure. Well, now we're
Okay,
doing these labels, and it's not advertised, it's kind of just like a surprise, um,
okay,
for certain species, the more popular ones. It'll say, like Grammosola pulchra, Brazilian black, New World terrestrial, and it's got an illustrated picture of the spider, and so they can put it on their enclosure. Um,
how big are they?
they're, I think, 1 by 2.
That's
Um,
awesome. So like, there are some vendors out there that are making pretty cool laminated uh, labels, but they're huge. And like, I'm like, well, that's really cool, and you can read the label, but it's like twice the size of the enclosure. So, or it covers up like half of the enclosure, so you can't really see the spider. So that was my only gripe with those. This is a solve. You guys have made it smaller, so that's kind of cool.
yeah, there's not a ton of room for information, not much more than just the name, but I think
Sure.
yeah, and I think we'll have, the artists, because it was an investment to have the artists design 20 labels. So in some time we'll do some more, and
Okay.
um, hopefully keep offering those. Um, and I'm always, trying to incorporate tech as far as the shop. I'm always trying to kind of incorporate technology some more. I'd like to use some of those um, NFC tags. I can put them on the tanks of animals, and people can tap their phone on the tag and maybe bring up like a care video or something like in the store. Um,
Oh, are those the little barcode things?
yeah, yeah, they're like a barcode. It's like this chip, and when you put your phone close enough to it, like how you like pay with your card on your phone when you're
Right.
in the store, yeah, kind of same technology where it'll pop up a link and like a link to a YouTube video, and maybe it'll bring you to a. And I'd like to do it all in house too, like do a video of us taking the animal out, talking about it, so that when you're in the store and you have questions about it, you can, just tap there, and then they'll bring up a
Oh,
video.
that's cool.
Yeah, it's a little bit more interactive, more, I guess, of a attraction, the store, kind of like a
Yeah,
little zoo maybe. Um, you know,
sure. It's it, we live in a society that loves instant gratification, and that's definitely a way to get something at your fingertips, whether it be a care sheet or a care video.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, always trying to improve and offer more value to the customers and stand out. Definitely always looking for stuff like that. Um, pretty
Very,
busy, pretty busy though.
very cool. So that was my next question is when you started the spider shop, that is the name of the brick and mortar store?
Yeah.
Okay. When you started it, did you expect for the time commitment to be relatively close to what the time commitment is now? And
I don't know what I was thinking. I mean, I had me and another guy pretty much full time for online, and moving into the store, I don't know what I was thinking, So it wasn't long after uh, the store has been open 3 weeks, and I do have a second full time there now, and even then, um, I think I got another part time just like for feeding, like for feeding.
right.
Um, I mean, it takes 2 people 2 days to feed everything. Um,
Wow. You guys have a lot of spiders.
yeah, yeah.
Do
So
you got do you breed all your own feeders or do you
no, I've tried. I can't keep crickets going. I mean, we have a dubia colony
oh,
and red runner colony, but they've never really taken off like I'd like them to. So
okay.
we're buying a lot of feeders.
I know some people that work with monitors and geckos, and they just, for the smell of crickets, they just don't even. They just order them all and then throw them in a bin and feed them out that week. And I don't even feed crickets. I don't. I have my dubia colony, and it's not very big, but I only have a few spiders. So, and I have a couple. I have some Chihuahua geckos. One of them will eat the dubia off the tongs. So, and I've got some an old adult pair of Ackie monitors. So it's large enough to suit my needs, and a few times a year I'll go get like a fruit fly colony, $15, and feed those, and they last me a couple. They last me like a month if I split them up. So
Hmm,
pretty easy.
yeah. Huh.
I watched I watched a video on a YouTube video on Dave's Little Beasties with um, how he will get a fruit fly colony and then divide it up and write, the dates on it. And the flightless fruit flies, you know, they're so small that they'll breed, and you can kind of like stagger your colony out instead of like having one colony that goes crazy all at once and then you're out,
Hmm,
2 weeks later.
hmm. Yeah, yeah. I don't use much of the fruit flies, but yeah, I'd like to have some more control, I guess, with the feeders or more,
What do
in-house.
you What do you feed your tiny slings like the Aphanopelma and the Brachypelma and stuff? Do you feed them like, do you let them scavenge feed, or do you like, what do you,
Yeah, yeah. I like to feed pinhead crickets for small feeders or like
oh,
red runner nymphs. Red runner nymphs are small. Um, yeah, I'll avoid fruit flies if I can. I just like they get up, I can't. keep them from
They
jumping.
get in everything.
Yeah. Um, but or if I don't have the tiny crickets, that time we're feeding, we'll do like, maybe a little bit bigger cricket, but we'll kill it first and can expect them to scavenge. Yeah, I think they do that.
Yeah, I've done that before with baby dubia. But anyway, well, I appreciate the time with you today. Hopefully, this will give everybody a little bit of a glimpse into what the spider shop is, and might send you some business along the way too. That's also the hope, to support local breeders and vendors and small businesses, all that. I'm very much pro that. So I appreciate you taking the time with me.
Yeah, yeah. Likewise, man. I'm glad to hear, learn some more about you too. Thank you.
Okay, we can do that on another call. Or you can just call me if you want, and I'm always open to talk shop. So,
Right on, Jeff.
all right, man. You
Cool.
have a good one, Tyler. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you too.
All right. Bye bye. This is Jeff Godbold with Godbold Exotics. Thanks for watching. Got a package today from the well, the spider shop. He did sit this shirt on the top. Otherwise, I haven't really opened anything. This is the box here. Um, I don't really know what's in here. It's just a bunch of stuff he sent. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. And okay, so we got a business card, which is pretty slick. It's a pretty nice card. Sometimes people just have very plain ones. This one is not. Stickers to go on my AC unit, because that's where I put all my stickers that I get from people. All right. Let's see here. Okay. So he sent some hanging leaves, foliage. Very cool. Never can have enough of that stuff for these guys, for anchor points and whatnot. Oh, cool. I just bought some paintbrushes, but I don't have one of this size. Says the Spider Shop on there. Very cool. These are, for anybody that is wondering what this is used for, the paintbrushes are used to actually move the animal, just so that it, because the abdomen's pretty sensitive and they could rupture, and it's just less intrusive on the spider. I love this these tongs, this size. I don't have this size. I have a bigger size and I have a smaller size. I've been wanting some of these, so that's pretty cool. Never can have too many tongs, but awesome. Definitely can use those. Not quite sure what this is. Oh, cool. The little little LED light that doesn't have batteries in it. I need to put some batteries in it. Oh, came with batteries. There we go. Very, very cool. And what else is in here? Oh, wow. Okay. There are some boxes in here. You know what? I'm gonna have to stop this and grab a pair of scissors. All right, so I put the batteries in this. Pretty good light. I'll actually use this for field herping whenever we go out down to, hopefully we'll get back to Costa Rica and Mexico here at some point soon. So I'll definitely take this with me and use it. Big fan. So it's a pretty bright light. All right, so kind of have an idea what this is, but we'll see. That's cool. Keychain. This is heavy, whatever it is. Oh, that's awesome. It's a mug with a cobalt blue on the front of it. Very, very cool. Wasn't expecting that. I think that's it. Yeah. All right. I was wondering what that was because I was like, man, that's really, really heavy. I mean, considering. Obviously a coffee mug's not super heavy. Okay. So this is a little arboreal enclosure. With the magnetic top to it. All right. Very cool. That's it right there. It's got ventilation holes here across the top. This is this. Got the Spider Shop logo on there. I guess, what are these? These are probably 3 by 3 by 6 inch, is if I had to guess. Very nice. Okay. I think he gave me 2 of those. Yeah, 3 by 3 by 6 is actually what it says on there. And then I've got 2 of these, whatever they are. I haven't read the labels on any of them. Okay, so these are terrestrial enclosures here. If you hear anything, it's because I have 2 boxers down at my feet, licking themselves and scratching themselves. Hey, what are you guys doing? Oh, I love these. These are really cool. Again, magnetic tops. Got the logo there. Now these are three by 4 by 5. So great little enclosures for terrestrials. They've got the ventilation holes here across the sides, so you get the cross ventilation as well as ventilation here. If there's one thing I've learned, it's you can't have stagnant air. It'll pretty much take out whatever's living in there. And then we've got this one here. This is the last item. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty excited about this. Wow, okay. This is, I would say, probably an 8 by 4 by 4, maybe. What does it say on the box here? Oh, 6 by 6 by 9. That's actually bigger than I thought. So it's a little extra. Get an extra, from the ones that I've seen on Amazon, they're all 4 by 4 by 8s. So you get an extra inch of height and an extra inch around the sides. But you got your cross ventilation here across this side as well as this part here, and then you've got your top here with ventilation, and you've got a magnetic top with 3 magnets here. So secure enough for the animals not to get out of them. The logo there. Wow, really happy with this. Thanks again. If you guys haven't gone over to the Spider Shop, I mean, he has a lot of dry goods that make your keeping a lot easier. Definitely check him out. I'm going to put his website down at the bottom as well as in the description, and you guys let me know what you think. But yeah, I'm thoroughly impressed with the stuff. From, at least you can tell that, you know, this is not flimsy. It's very solid, sturdy acrylic. So anyway, cool. Well, I really appreciate the box. We did this collab because I've known about Tyler's company for a while, the Spider Shop, and we just decided to partner up. And I figured if he wanted to send me a few things, I would make a video to try and steer some traffic over there. Not that he doesn't need it. It's just there's a lot of folks that have never bought from him, myself included, and so I wanted to bring awareness to somebody who, from everything I've been able to gather, is a pretty honest guy and is has a really nice thing going with the Spider Shop. You know, I've already noticed some of the things that he has just from speaking with him, as well as seeing some of the products, the boxes. There's a lot of little small touches, and that's where you really see the value in a company. If you're shopping and that brand, whoever that is, goes through the extra, you know, time and effort to do and button up all the little things to give themselves a little bit of a identity above the competitors. That's where you really see somebody who cares about what they're putting out there, and is you know, their reputation is important to them. And Tyler definitely seems like that kind of a guy. Probably to, whether Spider Shop was involved or not, but the fact that he is putting his name on something matters to him. And those are the types of folks that you want to do business with, because they're the ones that are going to take care of you for a long time to come. So anyway, this video is pretty much almost over, but just wanted to show you guys what I got. Okay, so I'm doing this video for the Spider Shop, and as you guys know, we've already interviewed Tyler Kirk from the Spider Shop, and you know, one of the questions I asked him was one of the things that separates him from anybody else. And I got to tell you, I haven't even opened the box yet, and I can tell you one thing right off the bat that's different. He has the coolest freaking shipping boxes of anybody I have ever seen in the reptile community, the invert community. The best boxes, bar none. I'm gonna show you guys. You guys got. All right, so we're in my truck. Shameless plug for Redline Shipping. You guys know Robin Marklin's my guy. But okay, so we got the Spider Shop marked on here, and check this out. Not only does he have like a picture of a tarantula on there, I don't know if this is by chance or if they're all have the same picture on it, but this is pretty much one of my favorite species. This is the used to be the gigas, but now I think they changed it to the Amazonias germani, the orange tree spider. I think that's an orange tree spider. That is awesome. And check this out on the other side. That's an Avic. So how cool is that, dude? At first when I was picking it up, I was like, I guess he decided to put like camo on the side, like real tree camo. And then as I picked the box up, I was like, damn, that's pretty freaking legit. That's cool. How cool is that? I mean, that's got to be something that's just exclusive to the Spider Shop, but I'm a fan. I need to ask him how much this costs, because I'd like to do this for my stuff. I mean, I just think that's awesome. Like, I don't want to throw the box away. And I know some of you guys that are uber cheap, you guys will throw your boxes away. And I do it sometimes too. Usually it's just to keep my wife from knowing that I got something new. But yeah, that's freaking awesome. Love it. Nice work, Tyler. Way to go, dude. All right, so I'm actually doing this in my truck. The heat pack is still warm. Not that you guys can tell by watching the video. We've got a few goodies here. Spider Shop sticker and some other stuff. Peruvian flame. Oh, that's one of the spiders I got. Cool. I didn't know what I was getting. Well, I mean, I'm assuming. Nice, dude. Nice cards. Okay, I gotta talk to him about who he uses for a lot of his marketing and stuff, because I'm taking notes. Appreciate your order. Very, very cool. Oh, he was talking about these. I think this is where you hit the barcode. I don't know who's talking about doing that, where it pulls up a care sheet or something. I don't know. Another sticker. Cool, cool. I think I know what's in here. There is a list. So which is more than I thought. This is a piece of cardboard, and all the goodies were separated. He had his stuff on there like this, and then the heat pack. So heat pack wasn't gonna touch the animals at all, which is a really good thing. That's okay. That's more. I thought he was sending me one. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, crapopotamus. I didn't know he was sending me 6. Holy cow. Okay, so I'm an idiot. He didn't send me 6. He sent me 4 plus 2 that I forgot that I bought. I'm an idiot. So yeah, I bought a Bomba Harita. I bought a couple slings, so that's why I was like, I didn't know he was sending me 6.
All right, guys, what's up? As promised, we are going to get into this rehouse and unpack some of these spiders. So I guess we'll start off kind of small. This is the tea ochre tea, or the I think it's is that Thrixopelma? Tea ochre tea. I know which ones they are. They have the little like raspberry booties that they put up in the air. They're like semi-arboreal. So anyway, this is a I guess the 3x4x5 enclosure. So we're gonna hope everything goes okay. I've got my catch cup over there, got my tongs. Okay. Let's see if it is, I don't know how big this is. These guys can be kind of nervous. They're like a semi-arboreal spider, but oh yeah, this little guy's small. Like I've done with the last ones, I'm gonna actually put some pictures up of what the adults look like, but let's see. I think that's probably gonna be okay in here. Go on. Okay. I actually got gloves for this, but this is pretty big enclosure for this little one. But it couldn't get through the holes. I'm looking at the abdomen size, so as long as it stays well fed, should be fine. All right, for this one we're putting the Psalmopius cambridgei in this one. It's I'm a big fan of pretty much doing everything with natural items as much as I can. I used to use like artificial plants and stuff, but I just really don't like that. I'm not saying that that's wrong and what I'm doing is right. I'm just saying for me personally, like aesthetically and what goes in the enclosure, I like everything to be natural. So take the top off. This is a female that needs to be put in here. I've got my catch cup. Let's hope everything is good. You know, I used to have a few of these. They can be a little cantankerous. Let's see. But they are an arboreal spider. Do not. Okay. Yes, she is. Got some good size to her. What I would like to do, now these guys can be pretty jumpy, but see if I can just push her in. Come on. There we go. Oh, oh, oh. See if I can. There we go. Perfect. Actually went back in on our own. Very, very cool. Kind of see her through the acrylic here, but yeah, she's good size. So anyway, that is the cambridgei. Let me see if I can get some. That's what I wanted, actually. I wanted her on the outside of the enclosure so I could get some good footage. Oh, that's beautiful. The reason I'm doing this is because I'm fairly confident in my abilities to get her back in there. Otherwise, I would not do that. I've had these guys enough times to know kind of how they act and what they do and certain mannerisms that they have. All right. So this is my first time with a Panthobetus species. Figured I would, I've heard a lot of people that love them, but this is the Panthobetus species Mirador. These guys are from Ecuador. From what I've been able to gather, they're pretty fast growers. They get decent size, great eaters. They are a New World species, but let's see here. Okay. Oh wow, that's a pretty sling. That's a really pretty sling. Look at the abdomen color. That's crazy. Very, very pretty. That's probably about an inch. These guys can be kind of jumpy from what I've been able to gather. Look at that. Beautiful. Okay. There you go. Awesome. Well, that was easy. This will be perfect. For these, I have the little 3x3x6 arboreal enclosures. These are awesome. I love these things. Putting a little bit of water in there. Try and help with some of the humidity. This one, as you can tell, already has quite a bit of humidity on it. So these are, let's see, let's go with the Reduncus right now. Psalmopius reduncus, probably one of my favorite genuses, to be perfectly honest with you. I've had lots of these guys before, and they're just really, really cool family of spiders. Doesn't really do anything for what the adult colors look like, but I'll show you guys adult colors with each one of these. Guys, I'll show you what they look like. Oop. This way. Oh, it's on the paintbrush now. All right, get on down. Kind of hard to see, but well, all right, that works. Oops. All right, that is the Reduncus, who is right here. Probably can't really see, but very cool. This is the Bamba Horrida. I want to see how big this one is, actually. Oh yeah, these are tiny. Yeah, can't put that in here. All right, well. Honestly, this needs to stay in a dram vial for me to feel comfortable. That's so small. So small. So I did have one of these laying around, so this is actually probably a better fit for it. And the little sling is actually right here in the corner. So, you know, with the ventilation, I think that'll be better. there's nothing that this thing could squeeze through, and it's not going to be too large of an enclosure to, you know, freak it out. Okay, this is a female green bottle blue. This is what I'm actually putting her in. It is an enclosure that I had laying around. This is a herp cult enclosure, so I needed to. I don't know how long she'll be in this, but it's visually pleasing, and I'm sure she'll have plenty of anchor points to web it up. These guys are super heavy webbers. Let's see here. These guys can be nervous. Oh, wow. 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 Oh my goodness. I had one that was a juvenile and I got rid of it. It did not have the adult colors, but these are beautiful with that pink bum. All right. So this actually will work perfect for this one. Ooh. Okay. I'm going to take this off and get some good photos here. All right, I wanted to get some good video of this girl. Whoa, Tyler, blown away, buddy. Blown away. Love that rump. Very, very cool. You guys can see this is the enclosure here. I thought about putting a water bowl in here, but they're gonna web it up pretty quickly. You know, these guys do like it more arid, so not so much concerned about the humidity, even though there is some in this enclosure. I just set it up though a few minutes ago. So, wow, beautiful. So in the last rehouse, I've got a Juruensis, an avicularia that's in one of these, I believe they're the little Jamie's enclosures, Amex boxes. I don't like the way these enclosures work. I'm just not a fan. So I'm actually going to dual purpose or use this one now that I like it so much better and it's bigger. I think it'll be better for the spider too. It's just hard for me to open this thing and to try and feed, and some, you know, Avics like to web up top. So anyway, I'm gonna get this one moved over. I see her. That's her right there by the bark right here. So let's go ahead and get her. This animal was really hard to actually corral when I first got her, but I'm going to see what I can do here. There we go. Perfect. Awesome. That was easy. All right, guys, so that's going to do it. Thanks for watching. If you guys haven't done so already, make sure you hit Tyler Kirk up. You can also go to www.spidershop.com. That's SHOPPE. So it's the European version of shop as opposed to SHOP. So anyway, I will make sure I have a link in this description. Make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a comment if there's something you'd like to see me incorporate into my videos or any feedback. I appreciate it. So you guys take care and don't sweat the small stuff. Until next week, you've been watching Godbold Exotics.